Welcome to Bunnyfish Crafts. I'm your host Heather, known as Bunnyfish on Ravelry, Instagram, and YouTube. Today is Monday, the 20th of June, 2016, and this is episode 184, Becoming a Unicorn. Grab some sticks and string and come sit with me. So do you see this lovely bruise that I have in the middle of my forehead? I hit my head on, I want to say Wednesday, but it may have been Monday or Tuesday last week. And the bruise just showed up last night, and I feel like it's super duper obvious. So yeah, it totally looks like I have a little horn trying to make its way out of my forehead right now. Anyway, my week was super duper busy. I worked on one of my days off and ended up staying late 2 days, and a third day I went home and got called by the not the overnight, but like the late night cashier who's in charge of self-checkout. She had a problem, so I walked in, I was kicking off my shoes as my phone started ringing, answered my phone, walked to the kitchen, put away the groceries that I had just had, put my shoes back on, and went up to the store. So yeah, it was a really long week work-wise. So subsequently less crafting than I would have liked to have gotten done. I also did a lot of reading, which I'll tell you about at the end. But I mean, it wasn't a bad week. It was okay. Anyway, let's talk about knitting and stuff. So All the Small Things is still going on. It goes through the end of the month, so 10 more days in which to get things in. Let's shake up and draw a prize winner, because I really like showing prize winners every week. It's kind of fun. And the winner this week is a Phoenix Fire Tracy, post 215, man socks. These were, this is the last post that was in. That's happened twice now. I don't know why I shake them up before I start the podcast and then I shake them up on the podcast. But anyway, Tracy, let me know if you would like, what you would like, blah. Yes, I can speak sometimes. I'm really tired this week. I'm really, really tired. But it'll be okay. I'll just, spout random things, which is probably fine because otherwise this is going to be a really short episode. So we'll see. Yeah, Tracy, let me know. You know the drill. Also, a reminder that at the end of the month, maybe the last podcast of the month, maybe the first podcast of next month, I will be looking at the poll for which socks to make next month. The poll is in last week's thread, so episode 183, and the options are Sewn by Lindsay Zombie Bag or Green Flowers. And then whichever one you pick, that'll be the one that I knit socks out of this coming quarter. Okay. I don't have any finished objects this week because I just did not have that kind of crafting time. But I did make okay progress on a few things. So first up is my Lighthouse cross stitch, which last week I showed you this ZK bag. This is the perfect bag. It's a Notions bag, but it is the perfect project bag for my cross stitch because my pattern and piece and the floss on cardboard all fit really well in the big section, and then I can keep the scissors in the small section. So this might be a cross-stitching bag for a little while. I don't know, it depends on how big my next piece is. I know it's a bigger piece. I don't recall how big it is. Anyway, here is the Lighthouse. And it's coming along. The main lighthouse just needs a window right here and then the black outlining, and then it is complete. So I have this tree to fill out, and then you do a stem in backstitch. There are a couple birds up here in this quadrant, and then down here most of this white space is filled in as grass, and then there's rocks down here that have backstitching. So I'm getting pretty close, but I'm running out of color options. I have 3 to go. I have this green, the gray down here, and black. So once I finish 2 of those colors, I'll be starting the fairies. So I don't know if that's going to happen this week or if that'll happen next week, but it's coming soon. And I'm pretty excited because this cross stitch is for my best friend. It's something that we found in her mom's room when we were cleaning up after her mom passed away. And I posted a progress shot of the things I'm working on this month, and she was like, "Oh, the lighthouse." And I don't know if she realizes that this is the lighthouse that we found in her mom's room or not, but that was pretty exciting because it is going to her as soon as, well, not as soon as it's finished. It's going to her eventually after it's finished. I would like to say as soon as it's finished, but I'm not that organized, and I would have to go to the post office and stuff because she lives in Michigan and I live in Kentucky, so I can't just be like, "Here, I made this for you next time I see you," which that might be the next time, that might be when she gets it, but I don't know yet. Anyway, yes, lighthouse. That's a lot of babbling. See, it's probably going to be a babble heavy show because sleepy. I worked on Robert's Christmas socks. These are just tube socks from my pattern / recipe, but with the alternate ribbing pattern, which I like a lot right now. It's the pattern that I used for last year's socks, and that's what I'm using for this year's socks. I don't know what I'll do next year. Maybe the same pattern, maybe something different. So this is where I was last week. They have basically doubled in size. Let's see if they actually doubled in size. Well, they almost did, except that toe. So making decent progress. I am 4 rounds away from starting the next ribbing pattern, and I actually should have been in the next ribbing pattern, but I didn't knit on these for at least 3 days. So I did some extra knitting on them last night, but not enough to catch up to where I should have been. The yarn is, I don't know why I have such a hard time remembering Lion Brand Sakis in the Red Hots colorway, but I always do. I'm like, uh-oh, what is that? So that's this, and then it goes into Marigold Jen, the sock base, which is wool and nylon in the Yoshi colorway. I worked on the Partying It Up part of Partying It Up and Getting Down by Megan Williams, which is a sock pattern that has a chevron that goes in opposite directions based on whether it's toe up or cuff down. So here's the toe up sock. And I put in the Afterthought heel yarn. I was not quite there last week, so I think I was in this stripe right here based on the front of the sock. So I am finished with the leg, and I will be starting the cuff. Not just starting the cuff, I'll be finishing the cuff today because I'm only going to make it a violet and black stripe. Not violet, orchid and then black stripe. A fairly short cuff, but I mean that's going to be about 10 rounds, which is about how much I do on a pair of socks. And then I will be winding the yarn for the other inversible because this yarn is Fiber Nymph Dyeworks in the inversible set in orchid and black. So I'll be winding that yarn today and starting that sock probably tomorrow. So yeah, this sock will be almost finished today, but I will have to do the Afterthought heel. Maybe I'll do the Afterthought heel first so it can be a fully finished sock and then start the second sock. I'm not sure, I haven't decided yet. And that pattern's by Megan Williams. I don't think I said that. but maybe I did. All the socks are knit on US size 1, 2.25 millimeter needles. So the last pair of socks that I've been working on are my Franken socks made out of yarn from Haley. I showed you the start of this color section last week. I was right here. And I finished the color section and attached the next yarn, but didn't work it on this sock. I was here last week, so I did that whole color section, and then I did work through the beginning of this color on this sock. And exciting, I have finished the gusset on this sock. So I just have 5 rounds to go, and then the gusset on this sock will be finished. And I am going to do the heel turn in this same color, and then I'm going to change the color for the heel flap on both socks. And then I really have to decide if I'm going to make these short socks so that I can wear them immediately in summertime, because I don't have a lot of short hand knit socks. And it's not a big deal. I wear my longer, like 6-inch leg socks during the summer, but it would be nice. I wear them to work, which is air conditioned, but it would be nice to have hand knit socks that I can wear when I'm going to the park in my tennis shoes and not be too warm. I wear some commercial socks. I think I have 3 pairs of commercial socks that I can wear in the summertime. It would be nice to have some hand knit socks that I could wear. But on the other hand, do I want to cut them short and not use all of the leftovers from Haley? There are probably 6 leftovers that I haven't touched yet, but I don't love all of them, so I don't necessarily want to put them all in the socks. And I could always put these on hold even until I get my next shipment of minis from Haley, because I know it's going to happen. Or I could finish them and have short socks. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I don't think it will be, well, it might be an issue this week. It might be something that I need to decide this week. I don't know, and nobody put in any input last week, so I'm kind of lost. Okay, maybe I'll just knit and see what happens. I don't know. But I'm really enjoying the knitting of these socks, and I really like the way that the colors are playing together, the self-striping yarns and the variegated yarns and the speckly self-striping yarn right here. So those are my Franken socks, and I'm writing down the pattern that I'm using, which is not really a pattern. I'm writing down the recipe for the sock because it's been a long time since I've knit myself toe-up socks. So I want to have a recipe so that I can make toe-up socks that fit, because for me that's harder than making top-down socks that fit. And I'm using the Rose City Roller Christmas sock that I made for myself as the basis for the pattern. So we'll see, or the recipe rather. So we'll see how that works out, and that will be going in my knitting journal, which I'm excited about. I really, really like my knitting journal, crafting journal, because it's not just knitting, it's also crochet and cross stitch too. So anyway, the last work in progress, no, I have 2 more. So first this one, the sewing one. I worked on Steve's quilt, and that's what the bottom row looks like right now. Yeah, you can see that. Okay, sorry. There's probably awkward armpit in there and stuff. Whatever. So I had started putting on the large square, I think. I think I had started on this row, this block, last week. So I made it through 4 blocks and 3 color pieces, things. 3 pieces of sashing. I don't know. That right? I think it sounds right, but maybe not. I have just a little tiny bit, like half an inch left to sew for this block to be officially attached. So I'm counting it as attached right this moment. And then I will have 2 more blocks. So this row of the quilt will be on and attached next week for sure. And I will have a picture at the end of the month to show you my progress. There were, again, a couple days that I didn't work on this because I just didn't work on anything on Saturday. I did, but not to the extent that I would have liked. Mostly I slept on Saturday. I was just worn out from the end of the week. So that's not as far as I would like it to be, but it's a lot further than it was at the beginning of the month, so that's good. And then my last work in progress is the Scaling the Stronghold, which is kind of a mess because I put it in a project bag last night at the foot of my bed. But I didn't zip close the project bag. So when I went to retrieve it this morning, the yarn was in one place and the project was in another, and I'm pulling from the inside and outside of the ball. So this is what happened. So I'll be dealing with that later. Anyway, here it is, and I am, let's see, I was here last week. So I knit all of this, and I have 2 rounds to go in the round portion, and then I will be working flat. So in the pattern, it's kind of, I'm more than halfway finished because there are less rows than there are rounds, but like it feels to me that that's the halfway point for the cowl when I get to the end of the round section. Yeah, so this is Gnome Acres House Gnome Base in the Gotham Knights colorway. I'm holding fingering weight double to make it more of a worsted / DK, and I'm working on US size 8s, which is 6.0 millimeter needles, and the pattern is Scaling the Stronghold, which I designed for a Divergent yarn club. And I really like this pattern. It's super easy. If I did more than 2 rounds on it a day, it would work out super fast. When I made the design, once I really like synthesized the design, I think it took an afternoon of knitting to make the entire thing. It was designed over a few days because I ended up ripping back a lot and then remaking it, but it's a really, really quick knit. You can't tell by the by the speed that I'm knitting it at, but it's super quick. I recommend it for gift knitting, not just because it's my pattern, but because it really is fast if you just work on it instead of just doing 2 rounds a day. And then modular crafting. So I did poorly this week. I don't have any finished hexapuffs to show you. I worked on some. I have 5 on the needles right now, but I didn't finish any because I didn't sit at my desk very much this week. It was too busy. There was a lot of sleeping when I was home. I did do Barn Raising Square number 79. The yarn is Joanne Sensations Souls and More in the, I don't know, pink, gray, something colorway. I made Cecilia's Christmas socks out of them. Not links, but the colorway is listed in the show notes last week, I think. Yeah, that sounds right. So Barn Raising Square number 79 and Mitered Square number 37. It's right here, and it is the mini skein from the ZK goodie bag, the Miss Babs sample that was BFL in the Prince colorway. I finished reading Daughter of the Blood last week. Not on the day that I thought I was going to finish it, because I just didn't read at all last Monday after the podcast. Thought I was going to finish it that day, but I didn't end up reading it until Tuesday. And then I started In the Blood, which is the second book in this collection of Midnight Blue. So this is the cover page for In the Blood. And it is from here to here. So it's that long. I finished that. It was a pretty quick read for me. It was a lot faster to get into than the first book in the series, which is interesting because second books are usually a little harder going for me than first books. But it was really enjoyable. Again, the main character is a vampire. She hunts other vampires, and this book is really interesting. There's a lot of not a lot. There's a fair bit of history referenced and architecture, and I don't know. I just really, really like Sonia Blue. I love her character. I think that Nancy Collins did a phenomenal job writing these books, and I'm excited to read the third one, but I'm making myself read a couple other books before I start the third one so I don't burn out on reading the series, since I have 7 or 8 of them to read. After I finished that, I picked up a book that I have out from the library because I think it's due back today. I don't know. I'll be renewing it. I checked it out when it came up on hold for me, and then I didn't read it. So it is A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness, and Jill of the Knitting Broomstick podcast is obsessed with these books. So I was like, oh, well, I will read them because why not? And by these books, it's the All Souls trilogy. I don't know if it's still a trilogy or if it's now a longer series. I haven't looked into it. But she really liked it, so I picked it up because when people really, really like books, it's usually for a reason. Although the people who really, really like Jane Austen, I'm sorry, I just can't do anything other than listen to them via audiobook. I don't love them. I'm enjoying it so far. It is... The world of the story is that there are 4 humanoid races. Humans, witches, demons, and vampires. But not demons, D-E-M-O-S. D-E-M-O-N-S. But it's spelled D-E-A-M-O-N-S. Yes. And all the 3 non-human humanoid races all blend into normal society. There's not anything that sets them apart. Crazy, like vampires can be out during the day and stuff. They do live for a very long time, though, and don't age rapidly and that sort of thing. Sorry, brain freeze. So it's a really big deal that they stay hidden among humans because humans outnumber the other races by a lot. And the main character is a witch, and she had some trauma in her life because of her magic, so she kind of denies her magic. Like, not that she has it, but she doesn't use it. And she finds something that all of the... I don't remember what they're called in here. I think they have a name, but I'm just going to call them the pretender races. That's what they're called in the Sonia Blue stuff. So the pretender races all want this book that she finds because they think that it has information that they all want, but nobody actually knows what the book has in it, not even the reader. So yeah, it's pretty good. I'm enjoying the read. It's different. Excuse me. It's different enough style-wise from the two series that I'm reading that I'm not getting confused, because it has vampires in it, and Sonya Blue is a vampire, and it has witches in it, and the Black Jewels books could be argued that the the main characters are witches. I I guess you would call them witches. Um, so yeah, it's pretty good, but it's different enough that it's not confusing as in the storyline. I'm not like, oh, what book am I reading? What universe is this taking place? Which I've had happen occasionally when I'm reading books that are too similar. Anyway, that's all I have for you this week. No, it's not. I also listened to Fragile Things, and I finished disc 5 last night out of 9. Okay, that's everything that I have for you this week. I'm sorry it was really scattered and super short, but last week was really long, so balance. I hope you made something fantastic with your sticks and string, and I will see you next week. Bye!